Now, a Target 12 investigators exclusive. A Rhode Island company has been ordered to stop selling construction insurance bonds several times in more than one state.
But we found out the agency advertises that it's open for business in Rhode Island. And during a phone call from a Target 12, a representative told us they're still selling insurance.
So we took that information to the state and discovered more. Target 12 investigator Walt Buteau has the details you'll see only on Eyewitness News.
Contractors are often required to pay for bonds that would cover the cost of a project if something goes wrong. A local developer turned to Target 12 after a worthless bond stalled his project, and we found a connection with a Providence company that the state has tried to shut down. Coventry-based developer John Govan bought this brownfield in Plainfield, Connecticut with plans to build housing here. From the lens of Skydrone 12, you can see what's left of the mass of 186,000 tons of granite that needed to be removed before construction could begin. Should this project be done by now?
It should have been completed around December.
It was 2012 when he hired a contractor to clear the granite. This is a copy of the bond that was accepted by the town of Plainfield. Bonds ensure that if a contractor walks away from a job or does poor work, the project will be paid for. The bonding company accepts the risk of paying for the project. Govan claims there were issues with the contractor from the start. Then, when he took a closer look at the bond, he noticed the date was wrong and the amount of the policy was more than the town of Plainfield required. He would soon find out the bond was worthless, so he says he went to Great Northern's Connecticut office for answers.
It shocked us. It shocked us to the point that we drove all the way to Danbury, Connecticut to check out the corporate headquarters of the bonding company to find out it was nothing more than a mail drop.
Records show Great Northern Bonding Company was owned by a man named Leo Rush. We found out Rush is also the name behind a construction performance bonding company that advertises it is celebrating 8 years of business in Providence. But records show that entity is not licensed to sell insurance in Rhode Island. Target 12 went to the company's office on Westminster, but no one was around to let us past the lobby. Target 12 also called the company, with the man answering the phone saying while they are not licensed to sell performance bonds in Rhode Island, they can sell them with a federal license. After our next question, he hung up. Federal licenses to sell performance bonds do not exist according to the Department of Business regulation, which licenses insurance companies in Rhode Island. And we found out Leo Rush's name is well known here.
For 10 years. We first encountered Mr. Rush in 2007 and issued an order against him then.
The most recent DBR cease and desist order against Rush's company was filed in 2015 when, according to the document, the company provided a bid bond for a contractor who bid on a Rhode Island State Police construction project. The contractor did not get the job, but the bid bond was evidence in the cease and desist order. That was the fourth Rhode Island cease and desist order filed against companies owned by Rush, and there have been at least 2 other orders in other states. With the Target 12 investigators, Walt Buteau, Eyewitness News.
Thank you, Walt. Coming up new at 6, the Target 12 investigators take a closer look at what action the Department of Business regulation can take if cease and desist orders aren't followed. And if you have a story you'd like the Target 12 investigators to look into, we want to hear from you.
You can call our Target 12 tip line at the number on your screen. That's 401-228-1763, or you can send an email to target12@wpri.com.
Now, more local coverage. This is Eyewitness News on WPRI 12.
Now to a Target 12 investigators exclusive. The state has filed several cease and desist orders to shut down a local construction performance bonding company. But we found out that company is still advertising its business.
And new at 6, we wanted to know what happens when a company doesn't follow state orders. Target 12 investigator Walt Buteau has the details you'll see only on Eyewitness News.
Target 12 found 6 cease and desist orders in 3 states connected to one individual who's currently advertising that he's in business right here in Rhode Island, even though according to the state he does not have a license to sell construction performance bonds. A Rhode Island State Police project from 2014 attracted a bid bond sold by a Providence-based company. The contractor didn't get the job, but the bid bond was evidence in the State Department of Business Regulations' most recent cease and desist order involving insurance companies run by Leo Rush. Since 2007, the DBR has told Rush to cease and desist 4 times. Similar orders were made in Connecticut and Florida.
The website says we're a market for people who can't otherwise qualify for bonds. They're just an illegitimate market. They're not a licensed insurer.
Coventry developer John Govan found that out the hard way. Skydrone 12 flying over Govan's Connecticut property that he plans to turn into housing. Govan says the project was stalled for a number of reasons involving the contractor hired to clear the land of granite. One reason, the contractor bought a bond from an unlicensed Connecticut company owned by Rush.
It shocked us.
Kelleher Dwyer tells us the town, city, or state agency that puts a project out to bid is responsible for making sure the bonding company is licensed.
We reach out to the people that accept these bonds, and we let them know these aren't legitimate bonds.
It should have been completed.
Govan remains frustrated that cease and desist orders in 3 states seem to have done nothing to put Rush out of business.
It's worthless, just as worthless as the bond, because it doesn't have any weight to it. It's not a lawsuit. It's not telling the guy he's going to prison if he doesn't stop doing it. They just change the name of the bond company and start all over again, and the chase is on again.
We checked, and under Rhode Island law, if an insurer does not comply with a cease and desist order, the DBR can file a complaint in Superior Court. Operating an insurance company without a license is a misdemeanor, punishable by up to a $1,000 fine. We're told DBR decided taking the Rush case to court would have less of an impact than warning consumers about buying fraudulent bonds from unlicensed companies. Kelleher Dwyer tells us there's no evidence Rush's companies have sold any bonds recently, but she says the only way we'd know is if there was a claim from a project that didn't go as planned.
So you could have bonds sitting out there that there's no claim made on that might not be legitimate. But that's up to the authority that's looking at the package to make sure that it's legitimate bonds. And you really need to check that an insurer is licensed before you accept any insurance policy, but definitely a bond as well.
As for Mr. Rush, his website remains active. We have reached out to him several times over the past few weeks, but he has not responded to Target 12 requests for comment. Also, on WPRI.com, we have a link to the DBR's database that will tell you if an insurance company is properly licensed. With the Target 12 investigators, Walt Buteau, Eyewitness News.
Thank you, Walt. The Target 12 investigators are always looking to uncover news. If you want to send a tip or report government waste, call our tip line, 228-1763. You can also email us at target12@WPRI.com.